Good afternoon. Happy Savage Saturday, keepers of the cash. Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy here. We're here with Savage Saturday Comic Review, episode 125, and we're just going to get right into it. Now, this is a 10-issue black and white format magazine that came out after the Savage Sword of Conan ended. This was meant to be a new ongoing series, but as we all know, Conan ended up over at Dark Horse after Marvel lost the rights, and we got 10 good issues, though. Each of them, just like the other format, had two stories. The inside was formatted a bit differently. It wasn't so much panels as, and there are, but it's mostly the art takes up the whole page on a lot of it. And it's just different enough where it throws you askew for a moment, and then you kind of move forward with it and you embrace it and you like it. All right. So who's our creative team? This story is called The Wind from the Stars. So it's written by Chuck Dixon, who's written many great Conan tales. We have art by Enrique Alcatena. This is the only thing I know him from is the Savage Tales series. Conan the Savage series. Then we have Vicky Williams doing the lettering, and that's our creative team. So it opens up, you have a 3-panel page, and you see a figure. And it's making its way through this windstorm in this desolate area. And it says, he comes to this place across time and space. He is drawn here by 9 hunger. Hunger for life, hunger for sustenance, hunger for raw power. He is the god of the void. He is Rune, the dark god. Then we turn our page, but we're going to show you. Of course, I'll put it over there. You know me. So there we go. So great art. And the next page gives us our title, The Wind from the Stars. And we have a little descriptive text in a scroll-like fashion that says, it is the 10th year of Conan's reign as sire of the Apollonian Empire. So there we go. We've Conan 10 years into his rule as King Conan. And you have one of the soldiers behind him asking him, have we lost our way, King Conan? Should we consider turning back to the oasis at Gaffer Well? And Conan there in his royal armor, gray streaking across his hair, he says, the first man to take a step northward toward the frontier will suffer my blade. We have found what we seek. Minus Hrath, the tower of the Brotherhood of the Spider. I choked the truth from that dog priest. His last words led us to this valley as sure as an arrow. Now the slaughter begins. Then we cut to another panel, and it's just a close-up of Conan remembering. It says, the Brotherhood dared plot against me in my own residence, but it was only underlings and thralls that were slain that bloody night. Tonight, the inner circle dies, and the Brotherhood with them. So Conan is on a quest of vengeance for the attempt at his life in his royal chambers. And again, great art, but you can also already see how the Conan the Savage magazine is much different from the Savage Sword of Conan magazine with the way that it presents its pages and its art. As we turn over, we got 3 top panels, and we have Conan with another person behind him. He says, hey, Andreas, stay with the horses. They'll only slow us on this broken ground. I wish to surprise these dogs at their vespers. And another guy, Decurion, asks, what is our strategy, my liege? And Conan says, bloody-handed murder, Decurion Glaucus. These conniving vermin are a rabble, not an army. Cut them down as you would rancid grain. And one of the soldiers says, that sound, the wind, comrade. And the other guy says, no, its voice is almost like a song. And then we cut to this inner chamber where there's this chanting going on. And there's clearly some occult ritual going on here. All right, and as we turn to the next page, you see a priest with a blade at the throat of a young man. And it says, you are prepared to usher Beithra into our presence. And he's asking this of this person he's holding as a sacrifice. And the sacrifice says, all-knowing Beithra, come on to me. And the priest says, you'll give your life to open the gate. And the sacrifice says, with joy in my heart. So thus is their devotion. And they pull him away, hanging him upside down from a rope. It says, from across the stars, through the veil of time, from his world of darkness to our world of light, the chaos, lovely chaos. And the priest slashes out and cuts the throat of the hanging sacrifice. So, already a savage and brutal beginning. Human sacrifice. a death cult welcoming a dark god. Conan on a quest for vengeance for an attempted murder of his own, of him. And, excuse me. And then as we turn the page, the chanting continues. Ata Bithra, and it keeps going on. And the priest says, the gate yawns for you, my lord. And the sacrifice is hanging there, already dead. The blood spilling down in a pool and into these symbols that it's filling out on the ground. You see horses outside charging away and away from the occult inside. And you see this one guy just knelt over this other dude and he's eating the guy's stomach out. So there's already a bunch of stuff going on outside of this. And then we cut to Conan, who's on the inside with his army. He says, the chanting begins anew. And one of his soldiers says, ahead and below us. And Conan says, guardians of the tower, slay them, every one. And the sound of blade on blade, the stink of hot blood. And we see this shadow with bat wings. And then we see Rune land on top of a tower. It says, the life force of the soldier and 3 of the horses assuage their hunger. Some of his power is returned to him. And it's here that we found out that the shadowy figure we saw feasting on someone's guts was indeed Rune. And the horses were leaving in a panic. Alright. So as we continue our tale, it's we get a big shot of Rune. Great art. The inking's fantastic. And it says, but the hunger withdraws only for a moment. The true feast begins in the shadows below. There is life there. There is power there. It will be his. And then we cut to a panel of Conan saying, I see the glow of torches. I hear them chanting their filthy rituals. The worms are here, drunken with their twisted rapture. Leave not one of them alive. And Conan is just diving into the priest. And you see the head priest say, feel the wind from the stars. He has come. Bithra is come. And then we're through those 2 pages. And the dark god of Bithra has been summoned. And you have another dark god, Rune, on his way there with Conan in the middle of both. And the priestess continues, says, the gate is open. Lord Bithra, step into the world of light. And Conan's getting a first look at what's going on as he's slaying a few priests. And he says, by Crom's good eye. And he's just kind of watching. He goes, an incandescent glow arises from the altar of the Brotherhood. A glow from a world unknown to man. A glow that swallows light. And then above them all, we see Rune poised with his wings out. And it says, alien science is at work here. A science that perverts the knowledge of man. Lord Bithra, the priest says, Lord of the unlighted places. Lord of the lands without suns. And we get a great look at the creature. Looks like very alien inspired to me, so probably had a big alien fan in this artist. But some good stuff, and certainly a fast pace to this story, a fun pace, and a lot going on. A little bit of coffee, my apologies. And then we go to the next page where the beast is coming down on the priest, and the priest is just shouting at him, share your glory with us, show us what you desire of your servants. And with that, the beast bites the priest's head off, and the beast just says 2 words, I hunger. And he's upon the rest of the priests, and he's killing them and eating them. So they didn't quite get what they thought they were going to get with this beast. You see Conan and his army watching, and Conan says, is this a thing of flesh and blood? How might we slay such a creature? And the soldier says, only a beast as foul and corrupted as itself might fare against it. And that is the introduction, of course, for Rune to enter the fray. We get a giant shot of him jumping from the shadows, flying through, and it says, the being he has sought on 12 plains and 100 ages is here. He's wandered half a world to find it. Now he feeds. So we get that. So some great art. And then you see Rune in the mix with the creature. And the creature's talking to him, says, you are the dark god, the one known to my kin as Rune. You are known to me. And Conan is watching from afar and he says, Crom, help me. He is known to me as well. In my youth, the same winged demon. And his soldier butts in and says, my liege, we must flee. And Conan says, go, Glaucus, run for cover, but leave me your axe. And Glaucus says, "As you wish, King Conan." And Conan picks up the axe and says, "And should I fail, then nowhere on this earth will be safe haven." We get to our next page with Rune fighting the beast. He says, "I lay waste to your people in the time before time. I was a shatterer. I was the destroyer, the bane of all your shadow folk." And Conan's rushing the remaining priests. He says, "Stand before me and fall. Stand before me and be damned." And he's just cutting them down with the axe, one priest at a time, and just destroying them. Ooh. So caught up in the story again, I did not show you the art. So there we go. Fantastic stuff. So as we turn the page, you see Rune shooting some powers into him. He says, "Now be consumed, Aron." And he says, "Never." And he shoots his power into the maw of the giant beast. And he says, "I am not food for some low creature. I am." And then the mouth shuts on Rune. But Rune was diving in there. So you're thinking that maybe he's been eaten, but he is not. So Conan rushes forward as the creature is talking. He goes, "Thing of flesh, before you are slain." And Conan just says, "Crom's blood." And the creature says, "Know that your world is now mine. Know that your kind will live only as my victuals, a meal for Bithra." And Conan has drawn his axe in a useless effort. So some great action going on. You got two different people fighting this thing on different levels. And Conan swings his axe. He goes, "I am not prey to be played with. You'll know that as I..." And he gets hit by the tentacles that the creature's emitting. And the creature says, "Mortal." And Conan's kind of grunting. He goes, "One with darkness, you now join Bithra." And the creature is trying to consume Conan. And then a sound explodes from the thing. A howl like no other heard in this world. A shriek from a place without stars, without light. A shriek of pain from a creature who has never known agony until this night. And you see that he had swallowed Rune, and Rune has undone him from the inside with his might and his magic. Alright, and then you have Rune standing victorious on the next page saying, "I am returned to the full height of my power. The Lord of the Void is returned. Rune is a god once more." And his back is to Conan. Conan's picking up his axe, and Rune is going on. It's like, "My head swims with a heady rush of strength. Ah, rapture. Ah, passion. To be whole once more." And then the next panel is just brutal. His head's coming off from his shoulders as an axe is swept through it from Conan. And then Conan turns around and cuts off a wing. And the head is screaming as it watches itself get dismembered. It's screaming no. And Conan is just splitting this corpse in two, cutting off its leg, and just going to town on Rune. Conan is not going to suffer the sorcery in his world. So then as we turn the page, you got Conan cutting off an arm and then doing the final slashings of the body. And Conan screams hellspawn with his last swing. And the head is talking to Conan. He goes, "What is your name, human? We have met once before. Tell me your name, that I may howl it in the wind." And Conan looks at him and says, "Conan, and there will be many more to howl it back to you." He goes, Conan leaves, and the soldiers meet him, and they say, "You live, my liege. Men will sing of this day in epics. This tower will be a shrine to your courage." And Conan says, "No songs will be sung. This day is to be forgotten, as well as this cursed place. Let the wind claim and cover it. Let this memory die." And then we just see in the shadows the head of Rune separated from its body, just sitting there for what seems like it's going to be there for eternity. And Conan finishes, "Let this memory die, and with it the horrors we've seen this day." And the last panel is of Rune's decapitated head sitting there powerless. And thus ends our tale. So, a fun, savage tale. As with any good Conan story, there's a lot of touch of sorcery in it that is causing him menace. And Conan he doesn't like it. And he knows that it would be the ruin of the world. And Conan does what he can to fight against it. And just a fun tale. Now, we're going to give this story, it's a really basic tale, right? Conan's out for revenge. You got two creatures that are gods battling each other for power. And you got Conan the human becoming the victor in the end. So a pretty basic tale. We'll give the story a B, a strong B, B plus, and we'll give the art a B plus as well. Sometimes I thought his art was a little off. Overall, really enjoyable, really solid art. I just have a few things I don't like on how he does Conan, but that's just probably my preference. Everything else I thought he did beautifully on. And we're going to give the conclusion an A plus. Left it open. You don't know what could happen with Rune from there. Surely his body's been torn asunder, but he is not dead. He's just, the head's sitting there. It was just talking to Conan. It's still alive, so what's going to happen? So a fun little tale. Overall, we're going to give it a B plus. And a fun read, a fun little series, Conan the Savage. And you get 2 stories in each one so far that I've read. And just great tales, man. Black and white magazine format storytelling, and holding nothing back as far as violence goes. It's just on display, and this was actually fitting the story, so it wasn't like it was gratuitous. It was just there because that's what was needed in the heat of the battle that Conan was in the midst of. So a lot of great stuff, and but that's it for today, guys. That is Savage Saturday Comic Review, episode 125. We got Conan the Savage, issue 4, with him face to face with Rune. Let me know what you thought of this story in the comments below, and until next time, keep it casual. Thank you for watching. Attention all, use channel sponsor Rogue Trader at theroguetraderutah.com and my code KEEPITCASUAL for 10% off your comic cleaning and pressing needs. Remember, when submitting your books to be graded, use a trusted professional.